Hi there guys, it's Joel here from Aussie Chart Trends. Today's market update is for Thursday, the 20th of September 2012. Before we get into today's update of the asx200, I've just got to remind you guys that aussiecharttrends.com.au and this video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the site or in this video is intended to be used as any form of investment advice. I am not a licensed professional. You need to make your own decisions regarding your investments. I'm just here to help anyone searching for a practical direction in today's markets. I'm sorry that I do have to read that out on every video, but I think it's a must. And I would like to just let people know that even if I was a licensed professional, I still wouldn't want to give that advice out. So anyway, looking at the charts now, if we take a look at the hourly chart of the asx200, we've been looking at this rising wedge pattern defined by this bottom blue line and this top blue line. Now, in yesterday's video, we were discussing that this middle line that I have drawn is acting of technical significance. As you can see, we were discussing that every time that the market seems to rally up to this area, it would find resistance. Found another area of resistance here, found another area of resistance here. Then when we got over the blue line, it acted as support. So rising wedges have a tendency to actually have an area within the middle. If you draw the line back from the apex, you'll see that there is areas of support and resistance. Now, I'm fairly much convinced that that's what we're dealing with here. Now, sometimes rising wedge patterns can break to the upside, and they can break their top line and keep rallying on up. And then usually, if that does happen, there is another pattern that is forming in the process. But guys, you can clearly see that this market is really trying to reverse up. Another tendency also that inverted head and shoulders patterns play out is, just for the new subscribers, an inverted head and shoulders pattern is when you have a left shoulder here, a head, and then you round up with the right shoulder. Another nickname for it is a cup and handle pattern. And what we do there is we measure the depth of this pattern and we add this on to where the market has broken out. And you can see that the market has a target of up to this area, and inverted head and shoulders patterns usually, not all the time, but a lot of the time, they actually play out as rising wedge patterns when they start to head on up. So that is an interesting thing about inverted head and shoulders patterns. So just really today's market action, we found an area on this red line again, and I find it quite amazing that this red line is active as support, as the tech book does state that these top rising support level lines, they don't usually act as support, and it has now for some time, and you can see clearly there is a number of touches on this area. But really guys, when this blue line breaks, I would expect that we'd probably encounter selling pressure. Now, rising wedge patterns usually have a tendency to sell off back to where they begun. Now, the other thing is that we've got this yellow line drawn on the chart, and if I just zoom the chart out a bit, this yellow line here has acted as support, and you'd expect that it may act as support again for a third time. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a bounce here, and we'll just have to track the hourly chart as we go. But if we have a look on the daily chart, going back to around the 9th of June, we can see that the asx200 came up in what appeared to be a rising wedge pattern. The only bizarre thing about this pattern is that after breaking this yellow line, we found support which had acted in previous months as an area of resistance. So the question is, will this little rising wedge pattern break down and take this yellow line out? And if we do, I would expect a fairly large sell-off to occur. Because if we look on the daily chart here, and this chart is going back all the way to May of 2010, every time we've got around this yellow line, the market has been rejected very strongly. Rallied on up, we got rejected at this point here on this red line, came back down, and we now have tagged on this yellow line a couple of times and have just gotten over it, but with a bearish rising wedge pattern. So very interesting, guys, to see if the markets will hold up on that yellow line here, or if this area breaks and we get back below our long-term downtrend line coming from 2007, we may be coming back down to test that 4,260, 4,270 area. It probably, by the time the market gets back down to this area though, because this line is slightly descending, we'll probably tag around the 4,250 area. So don't quote me on that. So that's fairly much it for the asx200. Beware if you are in long positions and you're a CFD trader, I'd be keeping your eye on this rising wedge pattern. But if you're just observing for now, I would just keep an eye on this this bottom line that we've got drawn on the chart. Also, if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, all I do ask is that everyone that watches these videos just clicks the subscribe button, only if you find this analysis of any benefit. I'm not going to do an update today on the S&P 500 as the index only went sideways to down, so there's not really that much to discuss with that index yet. But I'll keep you guys informed, and I'll see you guys on Saturday for the weekly review. Thanks for watching.